the real belief that helped me start approaching women. And honestly, I don't it's not what you think. It's not initially what I thought either. Before I ever approached any girls, I always thought to myself that it's that I'm not tall enough, it's that I'm not attractive enough, it's that I'm not cool enough, I don't have the right clothes, I don't make enough money, I don't have this magical charisma that these other guys have. I just believed that I didn't have the things I needed to be attractive to women. And these beliefs haunted me for so long that I never actually, I really didn't get over them for until I was outside of college. You know, in high school, when I was first like really attracted to women, I remember I could not approach these girls. They actually had to approach me. So there were a couple of attractive girls in my freshman and sophomore years that approached me and started the interactions with me, and I was so nervous and had so many beliefs holding me back from making moves on them that I had either no conversation with them or really bland and platonic conversations with them. And then outside of these girls, I didn't approach anybody. I just didn't have the courage to do so. I had so many beliefs holding me back. And not just beliefs about myself, but beliefs about what other people would think about me because I was approaching these women. Like, who does this guy think he is approaching the cheerleader? You know, you're a nerd. You shouldn't be approaching the cheerleader. You play video games. She should be dating football players. I had those beliefs. Nobody said those things to me. I probably picked up those beliefs from like TV and movies, but those beliefs held me back from ever approaching women. And what really shifted was in college, well, before anything shifted in college, I started to slowly, I probably approached in 2 years of college, I probably approached like 3 girls. Very few girls. And then I got rejected and was just see, all my beliefs were right. I wasn't tall enough, I wasn't handsome enough, I wasn't charismatic enough, I wasn't that guy or this guy or whatever. I had all these beliefs that held me back. And it wasn't until I actually went to college a second time when I was 26 years old that I started to just approach women regardless of how I felt and how I believed what I believed. And even then, I was so bad at approaching that I started to create new beliefs that I didn't have before. Like now, I'm too old. The 19-year-old doesn't want to talk to me because I told her how old I am. So now she's not interested, even though I approached her. So now I had the courage to approach. I was approaching more girls, but I really wasn't approaching that many. Maybe like one girl a week, 2 girls a week. I had one stretch of like 2 weeks where I approached one girl a day. And so I think in 14 days I approached 8 girls. So there were a couple days I took off, and I was so proud of that that I just stopped approaching. I was just like, I did it. I overcame my fear. And then that became the new belief and the new fear that kept me from continuing to approach and actually overcoming the fear. What shifted, what actually made a real change was when I started to see approaching like a game and less like this stressful thing, right? Like at first, when I'm talking about not being tall enough, not being cool enough, not being able to have conversations, I'm thinking too far ahead. I'm thinking, can this girl be my wife? I'm thinking, can this girl be a girlfriend? Can this girl be something in my life? Could I sleep with this girl? I'm thinking about the result before I ever start the interaction. I'm putting so much pressure on it. And that is what made it impossible to keep approaching, which is what I actually needed to do to learn and improve and acquire the skills that I could acquire. I can't acquire being more tall, and being taller does help, but I couldn't acquire that. There's nothing I can do about that. But being more charismatic, being a better conversationalist, being more confident, being more comfortable in my own skin, these were things I could build if I would just approach more girls. So when I started to see this more like a game and saw every girl like experience points, I'm serious. I started to see women like experience points, and that every interaction, even if it's with a girl that I'm not super attracted to, was more experience, more reps, and more comfortability and improvement in conversation and improvement in my own beliefs in myself and more validation for myself if they were like actually attracted to me that I could then use to be more confident and comfortable for the next girl who might be one that I'm actually attracted to, that I'm actually interested in. And making this shift into, okay, this is a game really made a big change. But at first this was super challenging. I tried to do this like, oh, okay, I'll just see this as a game, right? I'll see that girl's 20 points. And I actually did that at one point while I was in college. And I used to see girls depending on the interaction, right? So, like, if a girl was in an elevator, I'd say, oh, that's pretty easy because she's stuck in here with me, which is a creepy thing to think. But I actually thought that I was like, this is an easy experience points. I'll get this is 10 points or whatever. But then I thought girls walking around campus just strolling by themselves, I saw those as like boss battles and they were like 50 points. I know this sounds cringe if you're like, what? I don't even play video games. This dude is weird. But I'm telling you, I really did this. And I'll say to this point that that didn't really work. I mean, now because I gave this girl who was just out and about 50 points for being in a certain environment, it made a girl that could be like a 6 more intimidating than a girl who was a 9 if she was in the elevator. Which is interesting. I actually approached a girl who was super attractive because she was in the elevator. It didn't go well. I didn't have enough experience. But treating it more like a game and every interaction as me building up and improving my character so that I'm better prepared for the harder conversations, the harder interactions, did help me improve. It helped me have more fun with it. It took the pressure off every interaction and off every rejection. Being rejected at that point wasn't a rejection of me as my personality, it was a rejection of just who I am in this moment and how I've presented myself to this one girl. And that made a huge difference in my own self confidence and self esteem and allowed me to start approaching more women. And as I approached more women, got rejected more times, and had more interactions, I got better. And now I'm much better. The benefits of actually seeing this as a game and improving at it and having fun with it makes a huge difference in your ability to keep doing it, improve at it, so that then when you meet a girl you actually like, that you're actually really attracted to, you're not so in your head, you're not so nervous, and you actually approach the girl. I mean, that's the worst thing ever when you see a girl that you're like, that's my 10. I should be able to at least approach her, even if she's gonna reject me. I should be able to approach this girl. And when you can't do that, that is so much, the regret from that and the shame of that is so much stronger than if you had just approached the girl and got rejected. And I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you know this experience. I have experienced this so many times. That's why I had to change my perception, change my beliefs about what approaching is. It's supposed to be fun. Dating is supposed to be fun. So I turned it into a game for myself. And what you can do to start actually doing this for yourself, because this is all good and fun in theory, but changing beliefs takes action. So just putting points to girls does not make them easier to approach if you're not approaching. So my advice to take a first action step to start approaching is I told you what a girl was like if she was like 10 points, and a girl if she was like 50 points, and then you've got the like boss battle, 9s and 10s, right? See like a guy approaching a guy as like 1 point, and approaching a girl that you're not attracted to is like 3 points. And when you in the type of approach gives you more experience. So if you excuse me, a little dry mouth, and if you want to make these approaches and start to build this confidence and these experience, start by just going up to girls who are less pressure for you. You're not really that attracted to them, and just give them a compliment. And if you just compliment their outfit, it will feel so good, especially when they give you a positive reaction. But I don't want you to focus too much on the positive reaction, because if you get a negative one, then you may be like, well, you see, I can't approach. All these beliefs I had are correct about how I look and how I act and who I am. And you have this negative self-talk that holds you back from actually continuing to take steps forward. So my advice for you is to approach, and if you just take the action, just say the thing. Just say, I like your shirt. Just say, I like your outfit. And keep walking. You don't have to stop and have a conversation with her. Just keep walking. And you can start with men if women are too hard. You can literally give a guy a compliment on his tattoo. If you see my tattoo and you say, hey man, I really like your tattoo, in passing, I'm going to say thank you, because it took a lot of time to decide what kind of tattoo I wanted. I bounced back and forth between ideas, and then I had to find a tattoo artist. I actually went out of town to get this tattoo. I spent a bunch of money on this tattoo. I've had it for a couple of years, but I'm really proud of this tattoo. It has a deep meaning about my mom behind the art. So if someone compliments my tattoo, I'm grateful, and I tell them. It's not some small thing to me, okay? If you give a guy a comment on his tattoo, you might you might still get rejected. You might still get the like weird look or whatever, but we're just focused on taking the action. And if you start to have that mindset shift, this is a game and I'm just taking the action, building my experience points and having fun playing this game, approaching will get a lot easier for you. That mindset shift changed the way I started approaching women, and I've approached so many more women. We're talking over 300 women in the past, I don't know, like the past 3 months. Well, probably 6 months, more like 4 to 6 months. The past 4 to 6 months, I've probably approached over 300 women, and that is something I could not have dreamed of when I was telling you those old personal stories from high school and college. Now, if this is something you are still struggling with and you're interested in, getting extra help with this, I help introverted men overcome their approach anxiety, and I have a link down below. You could schedule a call and we could talk for free, talk about your situation for about 45 minutes and see if this is something I could help you with. And I would love to be able to support you in your journey to overcome something I overcame, because I struggled with this for so long, man. So if that's something you're interested in, click the link down below and let's have a conversation. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.